Yeah, Douglasville is a beautiful place. You just have to come out and see it. I find myself this morning just strolling the street of Douglasville. I have so many beautiful people out here. I can't too much to say. It's springtime and I'm out here. I'm out here doing my thing. I'm seeing all these beautiful faces. I'm traveling through this beautiful little town called Douglasville, and I'm engaging the people here this afternoon. It's just a beautiful sight to know that you can come out and see all these beautiful people in just one place. So if you ever get an opportunity, come on down to Douglasville, Georgia, and see how well and how appreciative you'll be of not only the people that you engage, but the architectural design of the small little enclave with a water fountain right here in the middle, and there's a beautiful eatery, a lot of eatery here. There's a beautiful place I visit right there. It's called the Grits. Most people come out to actually participate in brunch. Brunch is served right here on the square in Douglasville, and most people told me to go into this place called the Grits, which is on my right, and they have a beautiful breakfast, and so maybe second time around I'll go over to the Grits and experience a beautiful brunch that they're talking about. But I'm out here today actually not only engaging the people, but catching some of the architectural design of the city. And the city itself is progressive. It's been around for a while. What I discovered about the city is that most of the inhabitants came here like after the progressively starting after the what we call the revitalization of Atlanta. Most of the citizens was displaced from Atlanta, and they was find themselves in a new suburb of Douglasville, repopulating that area. And it's amazing how they have the beautiful square downtown with water fountain, and under new management, and it's attractive to come down and see. I'm here today, as you can see. I'm engaging the people here. I'm doing a video shoot, and I'm actually doing what I like to do best, is talk to people. And I'm talking to people as I do this video shoot. And the sky, look how beautiful the sky is, and look how beautiful the people are as I walk in my direction. I don't mind, but because that's what I like to do. I love to talk to people, and I love to have fun. So it's a beautiful spring day here in Douglasville, and I was told from a historian that I met here in Douglasville that most of the red brick buildings that you see lined architectural part of Douglasville, it was built by a gentleman named Willie Barnes. As you know, most of the structures in American cities was built by Black Americans, and they never got the paid for it. But in some of these cities, including Douglasville, the red brick building here, he was a master brick builder, and he built most of these buildings here around Douglasville. So his inscription is not on the building, but you can see his inscription of his work. The red brick, symbolic of Willie Barnes, who was I would say he was a Black American that came up doing reconstruction in this little town of Douglasville, and he went forward and made a fortune for himself. Not a whole lot of money, but at least he got paid for his skill and in preserving the city in which he found himself in. So come with me as I travel through this beautiful place called Douglasville, Georgia. Douglasville, Georgia, lay off of highway, I think it's Highway 78, leading into Alabama. If you keep going on 78, you find yourself into Alabama, but it's off of 78, and it merged with 20, which goes into Atlanta and all the additional city that you find around the area. But I'm giving some perspective, but I'm observing right here of the youngsters that comes out today. They come out today to do a photo shoot, and they're kind of like ballerinas. They're ballerinas. They're performing. They're getting ready to do a concert somewhere in one of the auditorium in Georgia. So they happen to come out today and doing this photo shoot and showcasing Douglasville. I'm happy to know that I came out here because in spite of the surrounding and outside experience that's taking place, they're actually symbolic to see that youngsters actually doing something to enhance their not only the talent, but to impress their family members. I engaged one of the mothers here in my excursion around here, and she said her daughter was involved heavily in this production, and she's so proud of her. Her name is Elena Wynn. She's so proud of what she's doing. She can't help the fact that all these youngsters is doing something, and she's one of the inspirational parents behind that whole arrangement to have her daughter participate in these activities. So many beautiful people around here, and I'm actually talking to a family here that actually came out for the day too. So as I walk around this place, there's so much to see. I tell you, there's so many beautiful people, so many beautiful architectural flavor that you want to can't get enough to soak up in your camera. And so I'm traveling through Douglasville today and seeing all I can, you know. And as you can see, there's so much to see here. And as we move most of them along around this particular city, you will see there's something distinctive about it. There's another neighboring town next door called Austell, and I'm gonna find myself going into Austell because Austell is on the same 78 highway leading towards Alabama. But all of these small towns sprang up what we call during the inception of the railroad. The railroad came through them, and they sprang up as a city in the early 1800s. Look at this beautiful arcades right here. I always like to take pictures of this arcade because it gives me a nice reflection of the architectural design that Douglasville has to offer. And I don't know if people's eyes catch this, but as you look at this arch coming through here, you will see the exposure of my camera, and you'll see how beautiful the brickwork, like I was talking about, the Willie Barnes, who laid these bricks, was so particular in designing the structures, making it seem like it's something appealing. So like I was saying earlier, I'm here soaking it all up. I'm soaking it all because I'm like a tourist walking around this place here, and not only meeting the people, but I'm actually soaking up the architectural flavor of the city and watching the people goes by. And as they go by here, you can see they're actually involved in some kind of activity, but I like to capture emotion and the emotion of people as they find themselves out in these environments. This young lady is on her phone. I guess we in that new technology today where everyone has a cell phone, and the cell phone concept is to engage and to communicate with those that you may not be in the present, but you look at these beautiful people here walking around here in Douglasville this morning. Like I said, there's so much here. But anyway, going back to my whole conversation about how these small towns developed. They developed off of the railroad that came into the early 1800s, and the concept was to transport the commodity that was actually being produced here. A lot of it was cotton, a lot of it was corn, some of it was tobacco, and so the railroad played a whole entire contribution to this small town. It's well known that without the railroad, this city would have died. But today, what happening, the railroad is still doing what it was doing back then. It's still coming through, bringing commerce from all the different states, all the way from Florida, all the way up to the Carolinas, into Georgia. You find them coming also into all the way up to the northeastern states. So the railroad is still busy here in this small town. And I found out the most prevalent part of the railroad every 5 or 6 seconds. Not that fast, but I would say within 15 minutes interval. If you go to a city called Austell, railroad will, I mean, this every time you hear a train coming through there, man, it's all just busy. So someone told me to go on down to Austell, so I'm gonna go down to Austell and see what Austell has to offer. But in the meantime, I'm still intrigued by being here in Douglasville, watching the people go by and soaking up some of the architectural and some of the flavor of people as they travel through this magnificent little enclave town called Douglasville. Douglasville also has a beautiful mall that you can find down the Hospital Boulevard going towards 85. But I'm not going out there today. But this is what we call small town Georgia. Small town Georgia is a depiction of where the city began. So right here is where the city of Douglasville began, and from here it spread out, either going east, west, because it was actually known for a lot of farmland. And after a while the farm corporation came in and they started improving the area, building strip malls, and now they're building a lot of what we call subdivision to house most of the citizens. But that's what makes the whole thing expansion of a new society. And Douglasville is growing rapidly. It's one of the small cities that incorporate a lot of factories that comes in. I'm not sure what type of factory, but it has a lot of factories that build a lot of product. I think that's one of the reasons why you have a lot of railroads coming through here too, because and a lot of truck depot, because Douglasville is known for a lot of factories that produce a lot of commodities that we may not know that is made right here in the city of Douglasville. But I'm still showcasing Douglasville this morning, and or afternoon I would say, and I can't get enough. And as you can see, I'm here looking at not only the surrounding, but I'm looking at the beautiful skies and getting ready to look at all the architectural design of these buildings. These are the new structures that built with the old in mind, so they didn't go far away from the older structure to try to maintain a similar architectural design of the building. And as you can see, the city is laid out here from this particular area. The enclave, you walk, this one of the main thoroughfares you go down to, that enclave that I just came from. And on my left there is one of the new buildings that line the street. This street is called Douglasville Boulevard, that runs straight into the city. And by running into the city, you actually get a pleasing idea of the designers and what they had in mind as they created the city. Here's another building that wherever you go in a small town or Georgia, you'll find an emblem called Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola was actually, I think, developed in Georgia. But as you look, you'll see on most of these buildings, they'll have the sign, "Enjoy Coca-Cola." You can go to all small towns where the inception started. And then they also have this quilt, a quilt symbol that was symbolic of in the Native American built quilt. And then the settlers came back later and adapt their design. And they have some kind of a quilt exhibition that goes through all these small towns in Georgia, showcasing that design. But again, this is one of the buildings here that Mr. Willie Barnes built. This is his structure, the red structure that I'm showcasing over here, of his work that he did just after the Civil War to help this city here develop in what it is today. So I'm going to find myself leaving Douglasville in a while, and I can't get enough of it, so I'm still showcasing it. But I'm anticipating going over to Austell, Georgia. Austell, Georgia is the next city down. You have Powder Spring, you have Millerton, you have Powder Spring, and then you have Marietta. So I'm finding myself right here in the city of Austell, Georgia. Austell, Georgia is one of the sleepiest of all of them. It's a small enclave, but it has some distinctive beauty of it, but it doesn't have a whole lot to offer. It's filled with a lot of antique shop and a small little amount of restaurant. And the thing that actually showcases the eatery in Austell is a little place called Donut in a Box. Donut in a Box is where people come to this town square and they go into the donut in a box, and they find themselves having a breakfast, a snack, I would say, a cup of coffee and a donut to go, or a donut to sit around and shoot a breeze. But this is this town square for Austell, Georgia. It's a sleepy town. It's right off of the only thing that I have going for itself, actually, like I said, it was known for the railroad comes through here all the time. You can hear that train buzzing, coming through this particular city that was remnant back in the day before the interstate came through. But the interstate is here now, and once the interstate come through most of these small towns, that thoroughfare that people used to use, they're no longer stopping in. So this is the one that actually suffered the most from that rerouting of the interstate. They just zoom by here and they don't stop. So it makes the city becomes what we call dead like a doornail. But some of the attributes they have here, they have like a diner sitting to my right over there in the corner. Most people come down here and participate in the diner philosophy, and going on a Sunday Sunday afternoon or Sunday morning. They bring their family out and participate in that dine and have brunch. Another thing that I've seen here in Douglasville, you have a fountain, but the fountain is not running today. But I'm in the town square of it, and it's not running today, so you can see it's dormant. But it's how should I say? It's a place that actually dead, and as you can see, it's empty. It's empty of people. But I'm here today. I'm here today, actually seeing what I can see. My subjects, it's not too much people who's my subjects, but here's a bird's in my subject right there. The bird, they have a bird was pigeon feeding nest right there. So the birds come here, and the birds find themselves eating food here. And right across the street here is a nice little park too, where you can come and chill out of this beautiful spring day sun. One thing about Georgia, once that sun starts beeping down, it's springtime, but that sun come down your back, and you have to find a nice cool shade to go underneath to kind of like shade yourself from that Georgia heat. But it's a good place for it's springtime, and it gets, it's only about 80 degrees here, and by nighttime it's gonna get down to about 65 degrees, because we actually in May, so people getting the gear up for what we call what is it, the day when we all go out and barbecue and have fun, and Mother's Day when people take their loved ones out to have a beautiful Mother's Day brunch or dinner or whatever you want to call it. But I'm just showcasing Douglasville as I see it, and this beautiful little park they have here in my excursion in the thoroughfare of Douglasville. So as I mosey around Douglasville, like I said, it's empty, but that's not fazing me. What's fazing me is that I have the opportunity to come out and be part of it and see what people are doing today. And here's some of the people here coming out of this diner. The diner that actually is one of the little attractions. So I'm mosey across the street here and see if I can depict myself going across a little intersection to call this area here Love Triangle. When the city designers was designing the road, they call this little walkway here Love Triangle. So I'm across the street here, and that's a diner over there that people come and participate in. The menu is good, but it's what we call a southern flavor menu. And if you're not your appetite is not that what we call attractive to the southern flavor, then you may not find it as appealing. But if you want to try something new, you go in it. And then here's one of the other showcases they do right here in Douglasville. It's a little park here that you'll find adjacent to Highway 75 by the railroad track. And this little park here was actually designed by the longest reigning mayor. His name is Joe. What's his last name? Jenkins. He's the longest running mayor here in Austin. Over I guess 30 years he's been mayor, and his employees was so much appreciative of him. They immortalized him by building a statue showing him, and then created this little square here with his picture. His statue and his structure of what he looks like during his reign in mayor. It seemed like he never wears a suit. He seemed like he's always in what we call one of those nice dress shirt, called a tank top. And so here's the area that he's sitting, that his employee immortalized him. And like I said, his name is Joe Jenkins, and he is the longest reigning mayor. This structure was designed in 2009, just before he actually vacated his office and leave the city to be ran by his new successor. The successor trying to actually revitalize the city and trying to bring in new businesses and new diverse activity. So as you travel through this place called Douglasville, not Douglasville, but what is it? Austell. Austell is also known for it have a beautiful veteran memorial site that they designed off the highway, Veteran Memorial Highway. So they put this beautiful memorial site that depict all the veterans that serve in all the different branches: the Marine, the Navy, the Coast Guard, the Army, and the Navy. In this particular, we call it the exhibit of all the, here is it, the flag is flying, and what's unique about it is they also have a tank. They put a tank in there. I think it's a World War II tank in this particular area. I like the color of the tank. It seems like it's all green and rustic. And I'm trying to place the century in which the tank was used, or the war in which was used. And the only thing I came up with is that the tank was maybe one of those World War II tanks, not Vietnam tank, but I've been in Vietnam, but not in Vietnam itself, but Vietnam era. And I can't kind of put my thumb on exactly what year this tank was actually built, but I'm here walking across this beautiful landscape of a veteran memorial that was developed here for all of those people who serve and sacrifice their life to preserve this democracy. This particular area is actually dedicated to them. I was also one of those individuals who's a veteran myself. I joined the Navy, and I did my tour of the war zone, so I'm consider myself a Navy veteran who actually participated in preserving democracy. So, and then I right here I run into a gentleman here. He's actually impressed by the tank too. Him and his girlfriend out for this beautiful springtime day, moving around like myself in this beautiful Georgia enclave called Austell Memorial site. And if you pass by here, you got to stop in here, because the stuff that attract you will be not only the tank, it will be the monuments with a beautiful American flag flying in the distance, and the tank that line there showcasing the military establishment. But you can't help but to come in and see it, because once you come in and see it, the memory and the pictures that you take back with you will be one of those beautiful occasion or moment in time that you can always place in your memoir, and you can say, I've been here, done that, and I have met some people here in this particular area that actually doing exactly what I'm doing. So you can't help yourself but to move around and be part of these beautiful scenery and beautiful places to go. And it's springtime, man. What you gonna do? Come out and see the places, man. Places is so much to see and so much to do, because if you don't come out, how would you know what's out here? You know, so I'm out here. I like to be out because, hey man, each day goes by. It's a beautiful day to meet people and to enjoy nature. And my philosophy is this, is that as you come out, it's a philosophy that actually established that each places that you go to, there's always someone there willing to share or willing to engage and have a discussion of life. Life is the essence of being engaged. And if you're not engaged physically outside, not just sitting by a computer or not sitting by a game console, but out there seeing what's in the particular area. Once you engage and come out, you always find yourself being a better person, because meeting people and talking to people are one of the really attributes of someone's self-esteem, which meaning that they can talk to people, they love people, and our whole concept is to love people and to be cognizant of our surrounding, but to engage people. And as you walk around life, there's a lot of people like you, and the energy that you receive from those people is actually energy that you need to actually propel life and move forward and be a better person. So how would you know anything about what's going on the outside unless you go out and find out for yourself what's out there? Look at this beautiful tank that's sitting right here in the midst of this historical perspective. I can't help but to go up in the tank. See, I'm climbing at the tank. You can't see my face, but I had to go up in this tank to inspect it, to say I've been here, you know. So I find myself up on the top of this tank here, seeing exactly what's up there, you know. But once you get up there, you can say, look here, you know, even if you've never been in the military, you have an idea of what the tank operator. If you ever watched the movie Fury, and that's what a tank reminds me of, the movie Fury, that they had this tank battalion where I think it's I'm not forget who the actor was, but he was in command of this tank during World War II, and that was his crew, and this tank was instrumental in starving out the German advance in a lot of different places. But the feeling of being on this tank is symbolic of knowing that you may not have served in that infantry that was using this tank, but now you know exactly what the tank looked like and what it feel like. I didn't realize the tank was that big when I saw the movie with Brad Pitt. Yeah, I think the movie was the actor name was Brad Pitt and Ruben Blades, and there was actually and several other people. I'm not sure who all the people was, but that was a tank crew that fought off the German in that excursion around defending, trying to defeat Berlin in that World War II episode. But so I'm down here actually today, actually seeing all I can in this beautiful little compound here called Veteran Memorial, and I'm happy to see how they have it designed. They designed it such a beautiful way that all of these things is actually showcasing not only the landscape, but to showcase the great American flag that's flying in the distance, and by showcasing that, you will see that all the people who was actually missing in action are actually depicted on this MIA missing in action flag that's flying here in Austell Memorial Places. So yeah, I'm happy to be out today and happy to be walking around this beautiful place called Austell, Georgia. If Austell, Georgia doesn't have anything else to offer but this beautiful veteran memorial site, that means it's my day was not did not went unnoticeable, because this alone is what intrigued me to know that I was out here and engaging people that I met by this tank. If I didn't come out, then I will never have engaged that couple who came up there on a motorcycle to see the things that I was seeing. So as I move along around this particular city, I'm going to try to find myself seeing some of the natural resources. Right here is a beautiful rock formation that I came across, and I had to stop here because it's one of those formation that give you a sort of like I want to check my exposure against this rock and the enclave here. So it's again, come out and see nature as its best. Nature as its best right here in Austell, Georgia. So I'm moving around this particular area, and I'm seeing as much as I can see. And here's another depiction of the town of Austell. It has two sections to it. This section, I think, is one of the section that actually developed on the railroad, where the main offices are actually located, police station, headquarters, and a few businesses begin to spring up from the ruins of historical derogation. Because after a while, you know, like I said, after a while, these buildings kind of like find themselves deteriorating. So Austell, and has a railroad that comes through here, and it's no train coming through there, because ever so often a train comes through here. But that's what the main thoroughfare, the railroad separated not only the metropolitan area, the business district, but it separated the area. And Austell has a lot of amenity that's set up for the youngsters come out to play, the playground, the gazebo, and then the gazebo, the grounds, and so I'm finding myself this afternoon showcasing what I see here in Austell. So as I walk along all this enclave in Austell, you will see that all of these places is something you can come out and have a picnic. You can come out and have picnics on these grounds. You can come out and bring your kids out and play, or have a little concert here in this gazebo and do some performing. I think that's the whole idea of having these particular amenities set up in this small town, because look at the greenery that's surrounding. Such fresh greenery, springtime, and I can imagine in fall time this greenery turn into like a beautiful flower as the leaves begin to go into the dormancy and winter decide to come in. But now we're in spring and we're heading towards summer, and that flavor makes things a little bit more beautiful too, because it's alive. Springtime is when everything is alive, and going into summer, and I love spring. Spring is one of my favorite time, because after coming out of the dormant environment of winter, and then you find yourself emerging into this beautiful, the birds start coming out, the leaves start coming out, the squirrel, the skunk, the fox, everything start coming alive, and human beings start coming out of the man cave, and having life, and having picnics, and having life abundantly, doing the things that they love to do. So that's what I love springtime, man. And who knows? You never know who you'll find out, who you'll engage when you come out of springtime. So today I'm actually going to find myself walking down to the other section of Austell, and see how beautiful the skylines are, and the structures that they lay out in this beautiful little enclave here on the brinks of the what we call the railroad that comes through here. I'm running through here because I never know who I'm gonna run into, and as I showcase the area, I'm still engage whoever I come in contact with. So the architectural design is one of the things that I look at and I showcase, but my preference is actually engaging people who actually will share their thoughts with me, will have a laughter, a joke, or whatever it is, and if our chemistry is pretty connected, then we get into a lengthy conversation. We talk about anything, history, inception of the city itself, and I run into a beautiful lady here. She's actually dressed in white, and I was intrigued by her, wondering why she's dressed like that. So that was my, what we call it, a conversation trigger. And she reminded me she was dressed like that because of her religion. She adopted what we call a Nigerian type of religion. I forget what she said the type of religion was, and that was her attire that represent that particular religion. So I was impressed that even though she's in America, like most Americans, every one of them came from somewhere else in the beginning, and they actually brought with them their culture. And her culture that she adopted, and later on I found out she was from actually Michigan, but she has adopted the Nigerian philosophy of not only religion, but they mix it up with the African who came here and brought their culture and still maintain it and pass it on down to their offspring, and their offspring, like other ethnicity, can reflect on the true identity of where they came from. And I was impressed with her because she was one of those individuals who love her ethnicity and love her origin, and she was willing to share all of this with me. And her friend actually runs a shop right across the street there by this area called Vantage. It's Vantage by Judy. That's her shop, and she actually sells herbs, soap, and all this. And the whole concept behind that is that her grandmother passed all of this down to her and told her about her history. So she was inspired by her grandmother to prolong or to exhibit the culture that her grandmother impart to her. So in turn, she would not only develop these beautiful fragrance that's symbolic of what her grandmother used to do back in the day, but she held on to it and she got her ingredients, and she ended up opening up this shop to actually sell these items. It was a sweet smelling aroma as you walk into that room where her shop was. So I would say if you ever down to Austell, Low City here, right on the railroad, stop in and see her shop. It's called the Vantage Judy store, and you won't be disappointed if you stop in there, because it's a beautiful experience. And I was impressed with her, because the free enterprise system in which we establish ourselves on give each of us opportunity to showcase our talent and take it to another level, and put it out in the market, and to see who will be gravitated to it. And it's an experience that we actually foster as a capitalistic society, and utilize in the free enterprise system. So I was happy to be able to talk to her and see what she was doing, inspired by her stepping out and being able to see her dream to come true. And each one of us have a dream, but we have to step out and participate in that dream. And whatever happened, but at least we can't just sit by what we call procrastinate and say, I'm gonna do it, and then you have the idea, next thing you know, someone come around, and you may not have spoken to them, or you may have spoken to them, and they that same idea that you had, it manifests itself into something real. And you kick yourself in the butt and say, you know, I should have done that. But guess what? You're procrastinating. And so whatever inspire you, and whatever dream that you have, it's always nice to actually go forward and put it into practice, because you never know. You never know with that egg that was hatched, or that idea that was sown, that going to become what it's going to become. The only way you're going to know if you participate and put it out in the market. So that's what I'm doing today, actually walking through this beautiful little place called Austell, showcasing Austell here on the railroad, and meeting people and talking to people, and soaking up the architectural design of the city, and not only the architectural design of the city, but actually soaking up the conversation with people that I'm being part of. So that's my thing, man. I just love people, and I love places. I love to get out and do things. So my project is called Small Town America, getting out and seeing people and find out what the inception of those towns are that become small town, start a small town, eventually become big town, because most of the big small town is what actually manifests itself into the big town. So in Georgia itself, we have 16 of these small towns that are around the major city called Atlanta. And if you move around these small towns, you'll see all of them contribute to that big town flavor in Atlanta. Atlanta is about, I think, about 30 minutes from this particular place called Austell. And when you go down there, that's another beautiful flavor there downtown Atlanta too. If you know, historically speaking, from Atlanta, Atlanta was one of the prized possessions of the what we call the Confederacy. And then Sherman actually came in, and he actually defeated the Confederacy in that particular city called Atlanta the prize in a Civil War depiction. And once that was actually captured, the tide of a Civil War was turned, and then the President Lincoln was actually re-elected to foster a more unified nation and try to end the Civil War and bring the nation back together. So that's what. But today Atlanta has a beautiful landscape. It's been rebuilt from the ashes. You have a diverse population. You have a lot of educated people that actually live in Atlanta. Atlanta, the mayor for Atlanta nowadays is called a guy named Dickerson. He was actually a council member who aspired to become the mayor, and he eventually became the mayor of Atlanta. So Atlanta is one of those major metropolitan cities like Chicago, Philadelphia, New York, LA, and to name a few. Those are Kansas City, all of them, Detroit, all of them actually started from these small towns. Milwaukee started from this small town and find themselves into big town. Find themselves into the city limit called Big Town America, and we go in and we traverse, and some of us go into them, some of us live in them, some of us live outside of them. But they're beauty to see because they always have something going on, something active taking place. So, but also the small town flavor is beautiful thing to see too. Like sometime I go down to Aqua, Georgia, downtown Aqua, Georgia. I go down to Powder Spring. I find myself in a place called what we call the capital of Cobb City, called Marietta Square. That's a beautiful, patriotic little enclave. You take pictures. You remind me a little bit of a small city that actually think big. So if you ever get a chance, go down and see Marietta Square in Cobb City. So like I said, there's so many of them small little towns. You just gotta go out and see them. I'm just naming a few because my whole concept is you go to Rockmart. It's one of you go all the way out west. You find yourself some other cities out there too. You go all the way down south. You got Plains, Georgia. You have Albany, Georgia. You have Macomb, Georgia. And I can keep naming a whole lot of them because I've been there, and like I said, my project is called Small Town America. But what I'm doing today is just showcasing Austell and having a beautiful conversation here with what's the owner of the store here. Her name is Melissa, and she's actually from a place called that I visit. It's called what's it in Georgia, going off of 85, and I just can't pinpoint the particular area. Oh, Canton, Georgia, and that's where she's from. And her friend there I'm talking to is from Michigan suburb, but Canton, Georgia, and all those small little town is symbolize what Georgia was about. It's a fertile fertile land that profit mostly off of cotton and the establishment of free labor, and then eventually became a rich city. And you have a lot of rich cities in Georgia, Washington, Georgia. A lot of them are small little rich cities that Sherman didn't destroy. But it's always nice to go and see them, and knowing that you've been there in those particular cities. But the flavor is always the same. Small town setting, people living the American dream, the middle class. Then you have the rural area where people still live in. Beside that, they don't want to merge in a city limit, but they want a small town flavor. And then, so they actually try to maintain those particular feelings. But what I've noticed here is that most of those farms and farmland that once produced all this different commodity that people need to have, actually is actually being torn down for new development, which include strip mall businesses and housing. And how I know that is that those areas were the enclave for the dares and the different natural resources, and you can find them those natural resources there: skunk, red-tailed fox, coyotes, and all those things. It's like they've been pushed out, and eventually some of them actually find themselves getting killed on the road. But that's one of the trends that I'm seeing taking place there. The destruction of the farms for the rapidly growing population here in Georgia. So I'm not here to debate that, but I can see that. But one thing they have implemented, the planners, they implemented a lot of green spaces where they can, when you can come out and ride your bicycle, you can walk the trail, you can play basketball, you can go to a lot of little ponds and rivers that they have. So that's beautiful that the design of a city just not only allowing the farms to be eradicated and expansion of road, but they're creating nice little recreational site for the citizen, amenity I call it, so you can still come out and see nature. And you can not only nature, but you can go out to exercise, you can go out to concerts, you can go out to outdoor concert, you can go to a baseball game, you go to a soccer match, you can go out to what we call a fishing tournament. You can even go out in a lake and take your boat and go out for a day and fish and exploring like Lake Lanier and places like we call the up here in Cobb, off of Canton and Atwood. Beautiful lakes up there. You can go and take your boat out. You can have fun in all of these enclaves that I have set up, and you can have a fishing tournament. I ran into a guy who told me from the Dominican Republic that he have an annual baseball series that comes through the city of Powder Spring. And Powder Spring city also have a beautiful BMX tournaments, and then you have what we call a fish festival. Most of these cities have fish festival. You have dogwood festival. You have a lot of festival that actually inspire people in the springtime and the summertime to come out and Juneteenth celebration in June around Atlanta, around what we call again Carterville, same place, Douglasville. We have all these celebrations taking place. So what's beautiful about life is that people actually still has these memorabilia and these things that it can participate in. You have the apple orchards and peach orchards that you go up to LJ in the mountains. You have all these beautiful rivers that flow down through there, and it's the apple capital of Georgia. And like I said, all this Jasper, the beautiful what we call granite capital of the world, where most of the rocks comes from. And then you find yourself going all the way down through all the different small little towns, and where this railroad actually take you, and the buses and the cars, and you become all part of it. So I would say my excursion to around these beautiful city and speaking about this beautiful town, small town I've been to, it's so fascinating, and I can't help myself but to talk about it because it's something that I love to do. I love to go out and see how people engage each other and how people love to have fun and be part of this beautiful thing called life. Life is the essence of being you, of being in the living, and being transformed. So live life to the fullest and enjoy it and be safe.